Just your dial, ba-da-bum-bum-bum. It's your boy Big Vern. This is App Stupid, the fastest growing sports and entertainment show on these YouTube streets. You're welcome. Holla at us. We gon' make it. We gon' make it. Shout out to Jadakiss. It's your boy Big Vern here at App Stupid Podcast. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. Please smash the like and subscribe button. It goes a long way to support the channel, and we appreciate it. We were talking some Indiana football. Indiana rolls into Brentwood. They beat down Deshaun Foster and Eric B. I don't know how they fixed that thing in UCLA because it was bad. Had the referees not interjected themselves and made this thing horrendous to watch with a bunch of calls that made no sense, then this thing could have really got out of control. Shout out to them. Congratulations to Coach Cignetti. Then we talked Georgia. Georgia very suspect against a Kentucky team that got thoroughly embarrassed by South Carolina, a team that isn't picked to do anything in the SEC this year. Georgia was in it for the fight of their life in a field goal festival. And why I think that Georgia is super suspect, because they just got a blueprint released on how to beat those guys. So we're going to go from the Big Ten, pivot, go to the ACC. Florida State, what happened? And Memphis, when I was currently taking notes, when I was watching that game, Memphis was beating the brakes off of Florida State in Florida State. And I just, let's start here. Okay, let's start here. I like Norvell. I like him. I like his fire. I think he's a good coach. Losing 20-12 is not going to help. Losing 20-12 is not going to help. 37 yards in rushing isn't going to help anybody. 37 yards in rushing is ridiculous. And I know everybody's thinking, how did they fall so fast? It's a couple of things. And I was talking with some people before I actually cut this pod. And I said, Florida did two things. Number one, they had everybody behind them when they got jobbed out of playing in the college championship for Alabama. Okay, everybody was on their side, but what they proceeded to do afterwards was play the victim and then try to sue their way out of the ACC. They had this notion that it's the ACC that's holding us back. If we wasn't in the ACC or we was in another conference, hands down, we would have been in the college playoff. That theory fell apart fast. And when you play the victim for so long, people want to see you fail. And right now at 0-3, they're watching you fail. And they overranked Florida State. They severely overranked Florida State. In the age of the NIL, when you can have guys walk off and on teams, and the transfer portal is a real thing, this guy only had, from that Florida State team that went undefeated and got smacked and abused in Georgia in the bowl game, this guy only had 10 guys coming back from that team. 4 on offense, 4 on defense, and 2 on special teams. That's not enough to get you ranked anywhere. That's not enough to get you ranked anywhere. Now, you couple that with the fact that you got guys with lofty resumes, 4-star this, 5-star that, but did they really fit your system? You're seeing that play out right now. If these guys don't fit your system, it's no need to go and get them. Third down conversions, put in that situation 12 times. They only converted twice. The defense was left on an island because Florida State couldn't keep their offense on the field. This was a home game. My goodness. 2 fumbles, an interception, Memphis held on to that ball for 36 minutes of that game. When you're having an abysmal offensive performance, it is hard to get your footing. When you don't have a rhythm, if you cannot stay on the field long enough, your running backs don't get the touches, your wides don't get the grabs, you can't really facilitate from a quarterback position because you're always sitting on the bench and you're trying to stay warm. It's just a bad situation in Florida. Give me a quick 20 from an unofficial sponsor of the show. Drop the spot. Yes, Taco Bell, Live Moss. Taco Bell, Live Moss. Order online, download the app, or visit the good folks at your local Taco Bell. When we last left off, we were talking about how bad it's gotten in Tallahassee. And you got to go ahead and start assigning some of this accountability. DJ Ugali, he's been some of everywhere. And it hasn't worked out for him anywhere. But that kid, 30 times they dial up the throws, 16 completions, 201 yards, and an interception. The wide receiver room, Lawrence Tafali, he's got 4 carries for 30 yards. They didn't have a rusher over 33 yards for the entire game. In some colleges, 30 yards where the running back is charged with those, that's usually the first quarter. You got some middle schools that average 30 yards in a game plan for 6-minute quarters. That's how bad this is. That's how atrocious this is. And I think the worst of it was DJ himself, the quarterback, he pulls it down. He calls his own number 9 times and rushes for negative 16 yards. I don't even know how that's possible. I have no idea how any of that's possible. To rush for a negative 19 yards. And that was an NIL kid. He's a kid with a lofty resume, but you can see right now he doesn't fit Norville's system of anything. Wide receiver room, if you did have a bright spot, it was from Malik Benson. Malik Benson, 5 grabs, 99 yards, and no touchdowns. That's it. That's it. Now, behind him was Kyle Marlock. Now, that kid was 3 grabs for 54 yards, and that's it. That's it. And I know you got people walking around here talking about, oh, you got to go ahead and fire Mike Norville. Why? How? And the intelligent people who've been following this, like myself, and we've been doing this since February, dang, it's almost been a full year we've been doing these shows. My God. But we was doing these shows and we were telling everybody they can't fire him. They gave him a massive extension last year. The dude is making $9 million. He gets a small raise every year up until 2031. That deal got inked by the athletic director, Michael Alford, and the associate general counsel people, and Gavin Burgess on February 16th. So they just gave him a huge extension. You can't fire somebody that you gave him a huge extension. Now, look at the landscape, and I'll go ahead and create that landscape when we get back from a rap album we're promoting this month. This is Big Vern. Drop the spot. I know you ain't gonna believe this, but we got another rap album we promoting this month. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. It's your boy Big Vern promoting Hush, Kingpin, and Ninth Wonder, the Super Goat, in stores now. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it be Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. My personal favorites on the track is Rewind, The King is Born, Friends, Famous Poet, The Waviest, and Already. Get it in stores. The Super Goat in stores now. Yeah, shout out to them. Hush Kingpin and Ninth Wonder. Very dope. Super Goat. That is very dope. Banging that this weekend. Well, when we last left off, we were talking about the landscape of Florida State and why just firing Mike Norvell may seem next to impossible. I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibilities, okay? Well, let's just say this. Entertain this, okay? You paid this dude $9 million. He gets a raise every year up until 2031. You just gave him an extension February of this year. You follow me? February of this year, 7 months ago, you all gave him this extension and all of this massive money. Now you're talking about firing him. That's buying out his contract right now at its peak. Because I'm sure they put in the contract, there's a certain amount of money that you have to pay him if he's fired in that time frame. So now you have to buy his contract out to fire him never to coach again. Then you've got to go looking for a high profile coach. I don't even know who's out there and who wants to go ahead and coach Florida State. But you got to pay that guy some millions. And then don't forget the kids who came, they left. You got to go ahead and pay them the NIL, not to mention that you're already paying attorneys because you're currently still suing the ACC in another state. This is an ungodly sum of money. I don't give a damn if your booster is Jeff Bezos. At some point, your mega donor is going to sit here and say, wait a minute, we're giving up so much money to start over and blow this thing up. It's cheaper just to keep him there and just suck it up, play through this, and rebuild. They're not going to make the ACC championship. And if you go out and you we got to do this, you're going to put yourself in a rebuild. Guys like Jeff Brom are a rarity where they can take people they never had, but they have a system. And when you fit that system, then things work out really well. That's why Louisville has adapted and become what they are. He's essentially becoming the Coach Calipari of college football. Him over Deion Sanders, because Louisville is competitive every year. That with, like I said, that not being said, Mike Norvell, he's got to get this thing back on track. And I know the good people of Tallahassee, it's going to be what it is, but it's easy to come out here and say this guy should be fired, that guy should be fired, you got to fire. Yeah, it's cool when everybody's spending somebody else's money. But for the money that the NIL is going to shell out, the boosters, the alumni, it's way too much. There's way too much involved in getting rid of them. Because like I say, this new component of NIL money, now you got to get a coach in place. He's got to do his hires. The university is going to be stuck with that. I mean, the price tag becomes ginormous. However, good folks in Tallahassee, I could be wrong. Let me know. Does Norvell need to go right away? Or are you interested to just wait it out? This your boy